Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Ama so hivyo inasemagwa. Anyway, this is yet another episode of Conversations with Marto. And somehow, thinking through this was supposed to come earlier, but thinking through this whole process of this episode has made me to record it and change it several times. So I hope this is the final one. So if you're seeing this is the final one. Like this is the one where I was finally like, yeah, wache kaende hivyo. So yeah, this is gonna be the beginning of a whole new series, because in delving into the issues around the D word, depression, um, it has brought up a lot of things that we will discuss over time, I guess, in a several part series. And it really opened to the question of what I want to achieve by holding these conversations, just not ranting and nini and piganging kelele hapa. Although some of you might enjoy that, I wanted to have an impact, because Conversations with Marto is dear to me. It has been my dream for a long time. Always wanted to be on radio, but I guess this is my former radio. And so this topic of depression, I think, is the beginning of what we will call the problems, masaibu ya millennials. And problem number one is I don't understand what millennial is, and I don't understand whether I fit in. I was born 93. Please tell me, do I fit in into millennials? I use technology. Does that make me fit? Okay, I don't know what clearly defines what a millennial is. So yeah, that's problem number one. So yeah, I will do several videos as they come and over the issues, and it's gonna be me, I think, um, relating to those issues and speaking to my parents and the people around in my life on their struggle with them. The stories here will be mine and others, and just us going through. Yeah. So depression. Uh, there are so many. Depression is a big thing in our world today, and there are so many people suffering from depression. Some severe, some slight. So my own struggle has been occasional depression, and yeah, you can Google it and they understand what depression is. Some of you, I think, will be medically diagnosed with it and will have interacted with people who have actually to take drugs. Mine is not at that level; it's at a lower level. But mainly the core things around depression are things to do with self-esteem, feeling low, and lack of hope, and like just feeling down and not excited about even tomorrow, and nini, lack of appetite, weight losses, weight gains, like it actually even affecting your health and things like that. So my struggle with it has been only mainly severe in the last few years. I think the biggest bouts have been between 2015 and now. So am I completely out of it? No. But am I better? Yes. And I'm going to be telling you why it has progressed and become better, and I think I struggle less. Not that it's completely over, but I struggle less, and how I found ways for me to cope with it, and probably ways that would help someone or you understand that. So I'm going to try and just not go into too much detail of where it all began. My biggest issues with depression have come from, number one, my fear of failure. Yes, my biggest fear in life is failure, and that is a severe thing, because part of being alive to everyone, and I think for the people watching me who are suffering with depression, is part of life. Failure is part of life, and yeah, it's a big deal to very many people. So mine began with self-esteem issues. Long and short of it, was bullied when I was younger for certain things. There's a time I was akanono kidogo, then nikakonda, then nikanona sometime, then class 7 class 8, then nikakonda, and then hiyo kukonda ikakaa sana. Wale watu walinimit campus, yeah, it stayed, I think, that whole period through high school. And yeah, um, so there were struggles within me in terms of, one, educational expectations. I did well in KCP, but I know I could have done better, and it's been expressed to me that I could have done better because should have done better. High school, the same thing. So self-esteem issues, or there have been several over time, but I think they were just collected. I tend to collect, and so a lot of them were just collected over time. I was not confident about my my looks. One, my intellect. I've always been told I'm smart, but never really believed it until like I think 2 years back. Um, Special talents, mimi hizo vitu zote. Yeah, I have a couple of talents, including the accent thing. I can do accents, I can do voices. Naweza sound kama Subaru. Okay, I don't know why I've just done that, but anyway, yeah. So those are talents. I can draw. Yeah, those are part of the talents, acting and all those. So although I knew I kind of could do that, I never really believed I was really special, or that they were anything extraordinary. So that's just part of the thing. The other thing is academic expectations. So as a bright student in this country, it's generally expected that you will do well in primary, go to a good secondary, okay, national school. From national school, you could probably go to university. Some of us are even more lucky. Some of my classmates, when I was in primary, have gotten the opportunities to go and study abroad and study things like medicine, law, and all that. And yeah, and we will do another video, I think, with my mom on how to handle bright children, because in our society, especially within the 844 system, if you're good in the arts and good in the sciences, most people expect you to do sciences, to go become a lawyer or a doctor, uh, while there are now newer careers and paths that one could undertake. So for me, I always thought I would be a radio personality and a journalist and a storyteller, because that's what I love, and I want to have an impact in terms of life and all that. So academically, although I did well, I didn't really do well. So high school, yes, I did get a good what would be considered a good grade in primary, good grade in secondary, and so I went to the university. This is, for me, was a period of big confusion. And long and short story of it, I studied something in IT, in the sciences, and yeah, so there are not many people who know this, but yeah, university was a struggle, because now I was now coming into now sort of understanding myself a little bit. I was hugely, I think, okay, hugely. I was unpopular in primary. I was unpopular, and by popular I mean, in with the cool kids, wase wanakupenda shule and all that. I was unpopular in primary. I was unpopular in secondary. Um, Yeah, I remember an incident in school where even my dad came to school and it felt like the whole school hated me. Yeah, so me going into university, yeah, self-esteem issues made me try and find, you know, people. For the first time I felt like I was popular and I was liked. Yeah, and that led down a whole rabbit hole. There was also the confusion on where I wanted my life to go and career wise and things like that. And I was already into this thing, I was confused. So there's just a whole bit of confusion there, which I think we will explore in another episode when we're now talking about career orientation and where, and gifts and talents and how to manage this whole new world of where it's not just the traditional jobs that pay. So now, this is something I've not told anyone, and I think I've beaten around the bush a lot about it. But the end of my campus story in KU is including, yeah, is I was discontinued in my fourth year. Yes, my last semester. Yes, I did all my exams, I did all my semesters, but I failed in the last semester, and yeah. So carry things forward, tried to move on with life, went out and got a job. Um, yeah, and yeah, I've survived in Nairobi, I guess, for 2 years. That was 2016. I was discontinued in 2016. Went on with my life. Tried to do other things, and 2018 comes. So in 2018, I was convinced the job I was doing then was not um, was not what I needed to do for the rest of my life. So what happens? I quit that job, and I went into survival mode where I survived in doing very many things. So that whole story is a big deal, and I know, yeah, nimeweka hapo, and now you're wondering and asking questions. But the reason why I'm going through it quickly is so that you understand that during that whole time I was also struggling now with I was still struggling with issues to do with identity, and I used to get now these bouts of where I would feel, why am I really doing this? What am I really doing with my life? And for me, the depression has just taken different topics. So I don't want to pick the topics as the big things that have made me have depression, because at one time it was I don't have a job, another time it was don't have income, another time it was I don't know the direction I'm taking with my life. But all these things had to do with my self-image, which is something now with my last bout, which was I think 2 weeks ago, was I got to the point. Of course, they were preceded by failures and nini. So my fear of failure, coupled now with actual failure, leads now to the reaction of where I go into, oh me, I am a bad person and nini and all that. So am I still struggling with that? Yes, but now I have found that one of the biggest ways of dealing with depression is getting perspective. And perspective means seeing things outside of yourself and seeing things for what they really actually are. Seeing the pain and hurt for what it is, that during that time you feel like the whole world is against you. It isn't really. A lot of it has to do with how you're feeling about yourself right there and then. Now, this is a whole other topic, I guess. And now the things I've learned and the things I have and how I've dealt with it. Yeah, I guess we will do part two on that. Don't worry, I'll try and release these things together. So, yeah. Uh, you're gonna have I think we're gonna have to wait for the second one so that I can discuss it in depth, because I intend to have these things as short as possible. So see you on the next one, where I now go to the details of liberal.